we're back on the show. Talking Sunderland and everything you know.
Conrad's got the numbers, proper stats machine. Mike's optimistic, living out the Mackem dream. Bowers keeps it steady, cool and level-headed. Wayne's already moaning, man, I'm shattered, I need my bed.
Baby, are you ready to go? Let's get carried away, man. Let's steal the show. Midweek Mackems every Wednesday night. Banter and passion in the red and white.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fashionably late Midweek Mackems. We just like to build the tension up and let you wait for a bit. Joining me tonight, of course, as always, is Conrad. How you doing, Conrad?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Remove
Michael Bowers, how are you doing?
Remove football, yeah, then I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right.
You okay, Michael Bowers, apart from football?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite funny with us being, because I was the one who was in here quickest and earliest, because I'm usually the last one in here. But at least we just turned up late. Sadly, Sunderland didn't turn up at all on Sunday. So, you want to go down that route. So at least we're more consistent. But yeah, I'm not doing too bad. You doing okay?
I'm always good, always good. And Wayne, Only Fools and SAFC, living the YouTube jet set lifestyle. Where you tuning in from?
I'm in Lanzarote at the moment, but I've just been telling the lads there, I'm sitting here with a blanket around us because it's absolutely freezing. Probably warmer back where you are.
This is what happens when you book the cheap times of year, Wayne.
Somebody told me it was sun all year round in the Canary Islands.
Well, the sun is still
Wayne's
cold.
going to tell
But the
himself
sun...
to fucking grow up, because he does that, takes the advice of everyone, he goes, and then it's freezing. Like, fucking grow up, Wayne, listening to everyone else saying it's going to be warm, man.
But I've got me tropical, so I'm all right.
Tropical.
Oh,
that's not like the
as
lilt
soon as
of
we start
Venus.
talking about Port Vale, he's going to start downing it. No, sorry, I'm too intoxicated.
Paul Armstrong says, "Hi lads, you calm down yet?" Probably not. Right.
Slightly.
Let's talk about Sunderland's cup run, shall we? Who would like to go first?
Go on then.
None of
I'll
you.
I'll try and keep it PG. That was fucking disgraceful. I don't even know where to begin with it. I mean, if I start with just the lineup on that, I think we all generally thought that's pretty much the lineup that we were going to have to field with the injuries that we had and the suspensions that we had. I think it was all sort of like that was the best personnel-wise we were going to have. We can all debate if we wanted, two up top. Should we have gone a bit more attacking? Hindsight's a wonderful thing. But apart from us sort of feeling, that's nice, he's gone with a strong lineup, that was probably about the highlight of the day, really, when the team came out, because
it's downhill from there.
Yeah, it was, shit flies downhill, and it fucking did for 90 odd minutes.
We had highlights, right?
Did we?
What the lineup
save
win
was a highlight.
I mean, the lineup win, it wasn't necessarily our strongest team. They were forced changes. Obviously, we're without our main keeper and without Nordy and stuff like that. Did he still play his strongest possible team, or do you think he set up wrong?
Well, I didn't get how else he could have played. I think that team should have been more than capable of taking care of Port Vale. No disrespect to them, and all they were a decent run, and they've just changed the manager and what have you. But that team should have been more than capable. I mean, Chris Reed comes in, Angulo plays, Talby plays. It's not as though we've got players not as though we're playing players from under 21s out there. They're all first team players, so no excuse. It's just embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. And the team was probably the strongest he could have put out. So no complaints from me on the team lineup. Maybe he could have went 4-4-2. He could have put Wilson and me up front, but I don't think he's got that in him to change a formation. So that's why we kept the one up front.
Michael Bowers, the lineup, we've got Rigg coming in. I like Rigg, don't get me wrong. Not sure he's quite Premier League yet and all that, but with a lack of Siddiqui, with the other players missing, why was Xhaka starting on the bench?
Well, for the reason that I said in the chat, that I feel like Lebris has got one eye on the Newcastle game, and I feel like what would put this way, the argument for me, I actually didn't have a problem with Xhaka not starting, because I'm with Wayne. I think that team should have been more than good enough and strong enough to go to Port Vale and win it. I suppose you've got to take it, and I don't really want to go on about the pitch because it's not an excuse. Like I remember, like I said to you, I've said loads of times, I'm pretty sure, any of you correct me if I'm wrong, in the previous round against Oxford, I don't remember their pitch being particularly good, and yet we ended up beating them 1-0. So I don't think it can, I mean, it can be a factor certainly, but I think it's a poor sort of excuse really, and especially considering we had we had a few days to prepare for that really, so we should have been accustomed to the fact that we were going to play on a surface that bad. And let's be honest, it's not just us. Like, look at, say, Mansfield's pitch when Arsenal went there. That wasn't particularly great either, from what I can remember. So, but as far as why Xhaka was on the bench, I can only assume that, like Lebris said, they were just trying to manage him coming back from, a knee injury or whatever it was, and they don't want to exacerbate it, because what happens if he plays and in the first 20 minutes he sort of just twists his knee or something, or twists his ankle, and then he's out for a good news few weeks. I mean, how would you guys feel going into Newcastle? And there's a game on Saturday, obviously, that we have to take out Brighton first. But how would you feel going to Newcastle if Xhaka was not playing? Like I think our chance of getting a result exponentially better if Xhaka's on the field. So I think to be fair, I want to start this out by giving credit. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be any Port Vale fans watching, but if there is, fair play, you deserved it. You were the team that wanted it. You were the team that showed the standards on the day. You were.
Did you highlight that one, Conrad?
Do you know, actually, genuinely, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes back to Chef Wed next season in League One. Who knows? Oh, no, hang on, he's left, hasn't he? Oh, I forgot about that. See, there you go. That's how much of an impact he made. But, yeah, for me, I think we've got to start out by saying Port Vale, nothing bitter for me about the result. I think it was, the anger to me is purely at Sunderland. I think Port Vale did what they had to do. They played the pitch really well. They picked the right moments to press, went to go long, went to sit in deep, and although we had chances, it came few and far between for me in terms of spells of pressure. So fair play to Port Vale, they'll celebrate it, rightly so. They have every right to enjoy that. But from our point of view, that was absolutely embarrassing. And I think and in fairness, it is a testament to the players this season that this is the first time I've really said this, but I think that every single player that played on Sunday should hang their heads in shame for that, because that was a massive opportunity to get to the quarterfinals of the cup. Well, look, we know that we're not going down now. And I think it would take the most freakish season ever for us to get relegated from this position. So those players, for me, I would question, not that they tried, because I did think they did try to an extent, but I always say there's a difference between trying and giving 100%. There's a big difference between the two of them. You can try half-heartedly. You can try and being half-arsed. Port Vale definitely weren't that. The thing that annoyed me was we let Ben fucking Wayne, Newcastle fans, score. Of course, he does the stupid Shearer celebration. Absolutely hate shit like that. But we let him score. So
in front of the travelling Sunderland fans as well.
Exactly. And you know what? Actually, I debated going to the game. Thank God I didn't. That's the only positive about it. So I think, yeah, but Port Vale deserved it. There's no doubt about it. I think it was an opportunity. That's what annoyed us. If the draw proceeded as it did, what was it, Chelsea away we would have got had we got through if the draw went the same way. And don't get us wrong, I personally think we would have probably got beat at Chelsea. But if you're really on it, there's a chance you can beat them. Out of the traditional big six teams left, Chelsea would have been the one you probably picked to go for. But it is, and I'm not going to say it is what it is, because I think Lebris saying that did annoy me a little bit. When it's like, well, Lebris, mate, you've just lost to a team that's going to be 3 leagues lower than you next season. So, but I don't blame Port Vale fans for enjoying it. I don't blame it whatsoever. And I feel sorry for every single Sunderland fan that went down for that. I don't think it should alter our perspective on the whole season, but every bit of stick they get from that is more than justified. It wasn't acceptable.
It's the beauty of the cup, right? It is. I mean, I know it's not
I'm
beautiful from
loving
our
it right
point of
now,
view,
like.
but it's the beauty of the cup, right? That when these underdog teams go through, and we've seen like the likes of United, Chelsea, and stuff knocked out in the past in FA Cup runs and stuff. So it shouldn't be the be all and end all of our season. It shouldn't have happened. But there was a serious lack of passion on the pitch for me. Not going for any second balls, unchallenged headers coming down into seas of people. Yeah. Does that show us, Wayne, how much we can't play without Xhaka? Is he? Because as soon as he's on the pitch, I know it's only the last 10 minutes, you can literally see him telling people where to pass it, and they're following his instruction. You can literally see him orchestrating it.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then that's a worrying sign for the rest of them, because there was like you've just been saying there was no fight. I think half of them down tools after the first 10 minutes when they realised they were in for a fight. Talby didn't want to know. Only Angulo probably put a shift in. Like in the midfield was non-existent. Chris Rigg was like a boy lost in there. And he's not the player people think he is, by the way. In fact, he's gone backwards to the player he was a couple of years ago. And I've had people saying, yes, he's not been getting game time and good and as well, but he's not the player people think he is. He's not this wonder kid. And that was the annoying thing, is the fact that we didn't fight. We were outfought by them. And I'm not blaming the pitch whatsoever. The pitch excuse, like what Regis Labrie said, was absolute disgraceful, what he said. Like, and with him as well, there was no fight, no urgency about him on the touchline either. Just stood there and just seemed to have accepted like the rest of them did. And that's the annoying thing, like Michael was saying there, the fact that we had a chance to get to the quarter-final of the Cup, a game from Wembley, and the players just didn't want it. They didn't want it. I mean, and if it is the case that just because Xhaka wasn't playing, then that's even more embarrassment on them. We shouldn't need Xhaka to come on and get us G'd up and get them up for the game. It's an absolute disgrace from that 11 that were on the pitch, absolutely disgraceful. Mienda didn't want to know. Well, in fact, all of them. I think there was only the two centre-halves that tried. Apart from that, shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
There was a kind of shot from Diarra, right? There was like a goal line clearance from him and stuff like that. So there was a couple of opportunities, but it just wasn't enough. Conrad, any more to say on this one apart from your eloquently? It's fucking giant.
My PG. I thought Angulo was good in the first half, but they realised he was actually a threat and just doubled up on him in the second half, and that was it. He was out of the game at that point because we had no other option. Wayne's right. Talby just didn't do anything, and you saw him against a really poor Burnley side a few weeks ago, and he was running the show on that right-hand side up against Kyle Walker. And then this time, their right back, I can't remember his name, but had him in his pocket every time and was bombing on past him every time for overlaps and stuff like that. And it was just a bit like, hang on, how come you can do it against Burnley, who
we played against without Xhaka, by the way?
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing about Xhaka is we played, 70 minutes against Leeds, 60 minutes against Leeds without Xhaka, and held our own, I'll say. We weren't perfect for that first 60 minutes, and he definitely made a difference when he came on. But it's a bottom of League One side, and you're missing one player who dictates your play. And you're sitting there telling me that Enzo can't read a game of football. Like, I get it, Diarra and the younger ones maybe not, but 09, Ballard, Alderete, but 09 came up from this division with us. Rigg has been a championship player for 2-3 years with us now. 2 years, Ballard championship and come up with us as well. I get it, to be honest, in a weird way, Hume's a massive miss in this game because I think he would have helped set a tone for us as well. And I know we critical sometimes of his captaincy, but he would have been the captain on the pitch, and I think he would have helped at least sort of get a bit of fight and grit into the team and try to get a bit stuck in. But it just seemed all too soft. I don't know about everything about the team.
I don't know about you guys, but at half time, I'd have been happier seeing like both Joneses come on and stuff people that that are going to at least have a go.
Like young centre forwards there, like did you get us in the young
Abdullahi was there as well.
Abdullahi, like he brings Wilson on, and Wilson, honestly, he might as well have just not have bothered coming on. I don't think he touched the ball about more than 3 times. Just
the fastest run he did. The fastest run he did was off the pitch at full time.
I thought you were going to say that,
Him and Diarra
straight
off.
I mean,
didn't even acknowledge anybody. It's shocking
that back pass, what the goal came from, 09's back pass. I mean, when it happened, you've got Elborg, you've got him turning around and laughing at 09. He should be giving them both barrels.
To be fair, in his defense, everyone's saying he's laughing. I think that was a disbelief kind of, what the hell was that kind of thing? And if you're a young lad like him and you're new into the dressing room, 09's an influential player. You're not really going to go both barrels at him, but you are going to be like, what? Yeah, you know.
Roofs would have turned around and probably given him a look or shouted at him or something. But it was just that I think he sort of smiled, and then when 09 came over, they sort of had a fist bump and a sort of hug and were smiling with each other, and it was just a bit like that.
Fair
That's
play
all right,
to him
but
for
you need to wake up.
Fair play to him for tracking back and getting his head to it, though.
Brilliant. And I know there was people in your live stream going, why didn't he just catch it? And it's like, he can't catch it. It's a free kick and a
indirect free kick, then he does that.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the middle of the box. He did exactly what? Well, I thought it was an unbelievable split-second decision to be like, run, and just throw yourself backwards and head it over your bar, because he could have quite easily just headed that in and just or missed it entirely. It was brilliant play.
There was no fault left. Yeah, there was no fault
No.
left with him if he hadn't got it, so he didn't need to do that. Yeah,
I will say 09 was pushed over while he was making that pass that the ref didn't give. He was shoved in the back to the ground as it was happening. So if you're falling over and I don't know if it affected the swing of his leg or anything, but he was fouled at the time, but the ref was just like, nah, it's fine.
The other thing for me is when, that's happened, whatever it is, but then defend the set piece better, defend the corner better. Like, you know, if you notice how
it came in, it went out, it came in, and it went out like three times. Exactly. It was like, get rid.
But exactly, like, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, like, well, Ben Wade's effectively won that header because he wanted to win it more. And that, for me, is what I don't like at all. And I think, but on the point you're making before, I think that the Xhaka thing, I do get that Xhaka will be a miss when he's not in the team. That's natural. It's going to be. We've never had a player of his level of experience and quality and ability. And it's not even just the captaincy thing. Look at I keep mentioning this goal back, but it's a good example of what I'm on about. If you remember the goal we scored against Palace that Lafay scored, Xhaka was instrumental in the build-up to that goal. That defence splitting pass for Nordi Mukiele to run down the wing to put it in for Lafay in the first place. That's the sort of quality we were missing. Now, I do agree that actually in this game, would it not have hurt to put Abdullahi on or whatever it was? And I think even then, if you put the kids on, there might be frustration, people thinking, why aren't you taking this seriously? But I think, but there might be a bit more leniency with it, because I think then you can say, well, at least you can see that the academy players are coming on and are trying to make an influence in the game. On Wilson Isidor, and I want to know what you guys think about this. I think we're going to have a real conversation about Wilson Isidor here, because
Leslie's just put in there, I don't know how true it is, but I read on Google that Isidor is leaving in the summer.
I would be surprised if he didn't go, if I'm totally honest. I think I love Wilson Isidor, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be a revisionist. I don't think any of us should be. He has delivered big moments for Sunderland before. But my concern with him, what people accuse of Lebris, because I think there were factors in saying, we drop off later on in the season. I think last season a lot of people overlooked that the last number of games, we knew we had playoffs. We knew we couldn't get top two. We rotated the squad, and it worked. Whatever you want to try and tell me, it worked. We won the playoffs. Simple as that. But with Isidor in particular, I do wonder, he did this last season. He went through a spell up until probably about the back end of February when he scored something like 12, 13 goals. And I think his last goal was Leeds away, which was a really good finish, actually, where Ballard obviously gets the ball to him, turns Ampadu, I think it is, and then does a shot off the post and it goes in. But he doesn't score again until Coventry in the playoffs. And that's something that is his head not in it. And it's the same this season. Now, obviously, this season, the Championship's a much harder level. The Premier League is a much harder level than the Championship. But he hasn't scored since the back end of October. Now, granted, to be fair, we did say at the time Brobby would become our main centre forward. But I just wonder, is it the fact that his partner had a kid and they're still living abroad? Is it the case, well, why haven't they moved over to Sunderland? Or is it that something's just not right with him? Does he want to go somewhere where he's going to play regularly? I don't know.
Are we not paying him enough just to have his missus and kid over here? I don't understand that whole...
Well, yeah, I know, and I agree with you. Yeah. I completely agree with you. But I just think at some point, a conversation has got to be had about Wilson Isidor and thinking, look, if his head's not going to be in it for whatever reason, then I think it's best for all parties that he does move on. Not just for us, but for him as well. Needs to go in the summer. And I think, for me, he's got enough credit in the bank for what he's delivered for Sunderland to go with best wishes if he did go. But, I just think... And obviously, it could help our financial or SCR position in the summer as well, where we could then go and recruit better attackers. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know what people think about it, but I just think a conversation at some point has got to be had about his future here.
I think it's an attitude thing. I'm just wondering how far these rumours were true about him getting Everton in January. For me, he's just down tools. Even when he come on Sunday, he just didn't run about. He just doesn't want to know about anything. His attitude absolutely stinks.
He's done an Isak. He's done an Isak on us.
It's shocking for me. He wouldn't play again for me.
It's weird because he had such a positive influence as well, and such a positive attitude. All that behind the scenes stuff in the last season and the start of this season. He seems like a big character in the team to suddenly just be
nothing. So we know that's the thing. We know he can do it, but for some reason he's just chosen not to. And I would rather see the young lad come on Sunday than bring him on.
Just another thing on Isidor as well. I was at Leeds. It was particularly noticeable. There were occasions where obviously Sunderland, of course, being Sunderland, we sit back when we go a goal up, and thankfully we held out for the win. But there was a couple of occasions where the ball was going out, and Isidor could have competed against, say, someone like Biol or Rodon for a 50-50, and he was jumping half-heartedly, and he was kind of running half-heartedly. Now it makes me think, unless he's got an injury or something wrong with his body we don't know about, I was screaming at him, going like, mate, we're under the cosh here. We need you to be constantly running and trying to press the opposition and make it uncomfortable for them. And particularly as he's just come off the bench, there isn't an excuse for him for that. I could get it if he'd started the game, but when he come off the bench now, that's when you've got to be full of energy. But I mean, as someone from the away end at Leeds, that there for me, it was particularly noticeable. And then even on Sunday, I feel like, don't get us wrong, I do get if you're a professional footballer, it is hard to get into it. It's harder, to get into a game when you just come off the bench. Like it is. Like any professional footballer will tell you, it's harder to come off the bench and to try and get into a game and feel your way into it. But when you are there, you need to be busting a gut and doing your bit to be able to give yourself a chance of playing more regularly. And I just feel like when he's come on, and it's shame because at the start of the season he was coming on. Like, you remember a game against Brentford at home, for example. He obviously comes on later on in the game and ends on. I can't remember if he started. I'm pretty sure he didn't start. I think
he didn't start the first four.
Yeah, well then there you go. So he comes off the bench and then makes a massive impact in the first few games of the season. But ever since then, he's just, even when he has come off the bench, he's just not put himself about as much as I think he could and should be doing. It's just mental to me. Really, really.
He did say when he signed, he's a player that I think he feels like he needs to be loved by the fans. So maybe there's something in it that we're all singing Brobby's name and talking about how good Brobby is for us. And he's probably sitting there going, he's got one more goal than me. And I was doing.
Yeah, but he's trying.
Yeah, exactly. He's putting himself about.
Your dummy out. You can't spit. You don't win fans back.
If you look at what Brobby's offering in general play compared to Isidor, it's night and day.
And weirdly, like I uploaded a stat thing. I shared it in the group before, but it makes the point I was about to make anyway. That where was it here? Sunderland have lost 16 of 35 of their games under Reggie's when they've had more possession than their opponent, compared to just 8 when we've had less possession. Now, we said at the start of the season that when me and Mike were in our Mayenda and Isidor sort of phase, I was saying that Isidor was... It's not. How's yours as well?
Starting.
Yeah. That he works better on the transition for us when we have to sort of chase games and sort of break out and things like that, there, which backs that stat backs up that we're better when we actually have to play someone who is more likely to try and control us and do that. Because how many times have we sort of said, oh, there's this team, we should absolutely piss them, and then we don't.
Yeah.
And then actually when there's a team that we're sitting there going, oh, it's going to be tricky, this, a fucking performance comes in and we're like, oh, this is brilliant. Like, how organised are we? But yet we can't beat a League One team, but we can get a result against Arsenal at home or City at home, It's
always been the same. It's always been even a completely different team. Last time we're in the Premier League, we perform against teams like City and then we'll just shit the bed against Hull or something stupid like that. It's just...
I used to put it down to other teams being like scrappier and willing to fight and do the sort of the dirty side of games against us rather than try and play the nicer sort of football. But especially with this team, that you get a team like Liverpool away, for example, you sort of, you're going to be under the cosh there. But at like 70 minutes when Talby went to Wayne's bedtime, we actually were like, we're in complete control of them here. They've got more of the ball, but we're in control of this game. Arsenal at home, I remember saying to the Arsenal fan TV when they were like, how does Sunderland play? And I went, we'll let you have the ball, but we're going to win the 50-50 duels. We're going to win the second balls. We're going to win this, and we'll dominate you without actually touching the ball. Like, that's how we'll play. And that was great for the first 5 months of the season. But I don't feel like I'm seeing that this sort of time at the moment.
I think a lot of Sunday has got to be down to Regis Lebris in our mind, because tackling wise we were shocking. Surely they must have had videos and games of teams that have gone to Port Vale and how you play against them, because you would think, in Proctor's
take your pick. Everyone's nearly beaten their bottom.
The bottom. Yeah. Like I said, I know they've changed the manager in January, and there were 4 games unbeaten, and they're on a bit of a run. But you made the bottom of League One for a reason, and you go there and totally play into their hands and just play a slow tempo. You're the Premier League side. Go there and stamp your authority on and get on top of them, dominate them. But we didn't. Diarra, weak as piss in midfield. Like, that's the frustrating thing. Is the tactics? The tactics were shocking.
It's scary
on
how
Diarra. So, go on, Mike.
It's scary how a few players dropping out can affect the team. I know we say it was Xhaka, but if you think about Xhaka, when he's not there, Siddiqui is covering all the ground and bossing defence and getting his voice and getting the crowd going is Nordy as well. So it's not like a case of losing one influential player. It's 3 influential players. And even for the actual Sunderland players going out there, they must feel more nervous not having them players around them.
But then Xhaka's travelling. Like, when other time do you see injured players travelling with the team and being part of the bench and the setups and stuff like? I mean, I know he was on the bench in this one, but like West Ham, for example, or whatever the game after that was, where Arsenal, he was at Arsenal as well. They don't travel usually. They don't go, but he's clearly got something. But just on Diarra, I'm going to bring up the Burnley game because it was his best game for us there. He was receiving the ball sort of in between the box and the halfway line, spinning and driving at him, whether it be on the right-hand side or up in the centre with Brobby. Yet for some reason against Port Vale, he was playing centre mid. And it was a bit like, well, hang on, we need to be getting up, and then that pushes Angulu forward, that pushes Talby forward. Get up alongside Mayenda or get in on these channels. You're meant to be that number 10 that's doing this. Let Gatreda and Enzo sit in central midfield. Gatreda's meant to be breaking it up. By the way, he was shit. Shopping. And Enzo is meant to be passing and sort of doing these slick little moves. He couldn't pass anything, but then neither could any of the others. It was just, it just sort of fell apart.
The pitch was horrendous. The pitch was horrendous, but
it was horrendous for both teams.
Exactly. That's the point.
It's the tactics. You watch the way Port Vale got it forward early and won the second balls. What did we do? We get the ball and play side to side and backwards. Like, we just weren't challenging. Hit the wings, get the ball forward, get the ball in the box.
We weren't. It wasn't a case of we weren't winning the 50-50s. We weren't in for the 50-50s.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, I think I want to quit on Diarra because I disagree with John in saying that Diarra isn't performing, because I think generally we have to remember Diarra's been out for over half the season here. He's been out for, since September, and only just came back about 6 weeks ago. So I think on Sunday, actually, I didn't think Diarra was that bad in the first half. I thought he was one of the only ones who was trying to generally to make anything happen, and he created 1 or 2 decent chances for himself. I can't remember many of the other players doing that.
He should have scored that fucking lob.
Yeah, there is that one as well. But I don't know. I just feel like I wonder whether Diarra was the one who probably felt the most effect from Siddiqui and Xhaka both not being there, because it felt like he had to do that. What we think of Siddiqui when Xhaka's not playing, I think Diarra was in this game. I think he felt like he had to do the work of Siddiqui and Xhaka. I don't know. It's just something to put out there, but I just think it was just a shambles all around. And like I said earlier with the pitch thing, and Conrad's right. I think all right. It's exactly the same for both teams. And if we didn't expect to have to play on that surface, and we, what research have we done beforehand? It's. Don't get me wrong. I think there was a comment in the chat earlier, and I think it was for where is it? It was for Patrick, I think it was, and he put the point about how, 4 years ago this weekend coming, I was at Lincoln City away for a 0-0 draw. See where we are now. I agree with that, and I think generally this is why I said it shouldn't alter the perspective of how we've done. And I think it's important to remember that. But it was still absolutely it was still for me, absolutely shocking.
I didn't buy that at all. I think far too many times this season we've come to the point where we said, well, look how far we've come. The fact is, we were absolutely shocked on Sunday, and it's not acceptable. Forget what's happened before that. Forget oh, well, look where we were 8 years ago, got 5, 6 years. That means now against Sunday, that team on Sunday with the right attitude and the right tactics beats Port Vale. End of story. And that was the attitude and tactics down to the players, down to Regis Labrise. The past means nothing.
So
what the Port Vale game
perfectly
did is made us feel like it was 4 years ago
Yeah,
drawing
it gave
against
you
Lincoln
PTSD,
City,
didn't it?
and that's why it was so annoying there that a team like Port Vale have worked out if we shut off their wings, they've got nothing. And it's exactly what Fulham came and did to us. It's exactly what teams do. They stop us going to the wingers because we just go side to side and realise we've got nothing to go through the middle on us.
And we have had a fantastic season, right? Nobody's disputing that. But if you look on the bare facts, attacking wise, we're absolutely woeful. We're woeful going forward. Didn't create chances. We create. Our
we scored more than
and our
2 in a
defensive
game?
record.
Sorry?
I was about to say we scored more than 2, but I think we got
We've
3
scored more
twice.
than 2 quite a few times, to be fair.
Yeah.
Brentford
West
at home,
Ham,
West Ham at
West
home,
Ham.
Bournemouth at home.
Um,
Chelsea. Oh, no, sorry, more than 2. Sorry.
No,
hang on.
more
Is
than
this
2. So
not-
West Ham
West
and
Ham.
Burnley, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
is
it
this
says
not the
like that, yeah,
perfect? Is this not the perfect storytelling now, though? To bounce back from this must give them all a massive shake. Come to Brighton, come to our place to home. We put on a sterling performance. Really tell the fans, we're sorry. So here's what we can do, and then follow that up by going to Newcastle with some confidence.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I mean, just quickly, there's a comment here from Wolsey when he's saying, for £30 million, don't expect Diarra to be. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for highlighting it. I did like that last bit. That was quite funny. That you found
For the sake of Spotify, well, I'm going to disagree with Bowers and say for 30 million, you don't expect him to be bullied by a player from Port Vale who cost £30 and a bag of Space Raiders. Cheers,
to which I would respond, if you're expecting the complete pack. I mean, okay, Port Vale, I agree with that. But I think, again, I keep mentioning this point. If people are expecting to sign the finished article right now, then unfortunately, they're going to cost about 60, 70 million quid. It's fact.
I will say he's quite close because he is a AFCON winner. He was playing in the Europa League with Strasbourg, I think, as well. And I get he's only 19, 20.
To be fair, he's 21, maybe 21, 20.
21. Oh, he's ancient. Yeah.
But the point is, if he was going to be established more, he would be going to like a top 6 club. Maybe
it was a coup. We got him. I remember at the time them going like, he's gone to Sunderland. Like, I think there was other potential suitors, and it was one of those that for our first signing, we were all a bit like, never heard of this lad. Oh yeah, he demolished England with Senegal, and actually he's been doing this in the Europa League. Like,
I don't
we
disagree
knew of
with
him.
Wayne. I don't disagree with what Wayne said about the attacking lineup, and that is something that next season I really do want to see improve. And even I've said that I want us to be a lot better going forward. But I keep on making this point for a reason, that if you're wanting to sign the best attack, I mean, I know Wayne's not saying best attackers like Semenyo. Christ, I'd love to have him now. But if you're talking like
he'd be shit for us. They always are.
Oh, yeah, probably you're not right. He was for us, wasn't he? Really, Parky Ball. But yeah, the point is, if you're wanting to sign players that are going to instantaneously deliver and do it week in, week out in the Premier League, again, it costs a lot of money. And I know people say 20 million for Talby or 20 million for Adingra and Ngulu, but in Premier League terms, that is not a lot of money. If you're looking at like I said earlier, the example I mentioned was Semenyo, because they only cost Man City 65 million because of a release clause. It's not because they genuinely got him for that sort of fee. Well, they did obviously, but they didn't have to just pay that fee without a release clause. How much would Semenyo cost Man City without a sell-on clause? You're probably talking nigh on of 100 million quid these days. So this is where I think this is where I've said all along that I think staying up is so important, because next season now I want to see a couple of really good star attacking players coming in, because we should now have another year of Premier League money to invest it. We should now have the new financial rules that should start to benefit you a bit more, and able to spend 85% of your turnover on the first team effectively. This is where I want to start seeing us go for the attacking sort of prowess. And I'm talking, instead of spending, say, £20 million on players, if we do our recruitment right, spend £30 to £40 million on a couple of attackers. So, but we actually look at how we've done going forward this season in the Premier League. Unless I'm wrong here, I think we're the 3rd lowest scorers. I think this season.
Away from home, probably I think bar Wolves, I think we're the lowest scorers.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Wolves have scored more than us, to be honest. The other thing
We only scored like 5 goals away from home.
the thing that staggers me though is that Burnley have even scored more than us, and I don't think their squad's better than ours at all. I think their squad's like higher end Championship quality, personally.
Well, that's it, mate. I get what you're saying about, you want us to get out and buy, like, step up and step the
I
recruitment.
wanted us to do that last summer, by the way, just to let you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, we were never going to do that though,
But
unfortunately.
so if that's the case, what's the point in the players that we bought? I mean, why did we spend £25 million on a Dingra? We've bought Jocelyn, £20 million on Talby. Do we not see them as the players who we're going to develop into that? Why do we need to then replace them?
But if you not sign those players, no, sorry, go on. You finish your point. I'll not interrupt.
I'm just saying. I mean, sure, we haven't paid 25-30 million quid for a Dingra to then go and send them out on loan. We must have been expecting these players to come in and deliver, and they haven't.
Well, I would.
If we were more attacking set up, I think a Dingra would work because he's gone to Monaco in an attacking system and he's scoring a fair few goals already, getting assists. It's the way we're set up to sort of defend, sit back, and then sort of counteract that. You can't get even if we had. I'm trying to think of someone who's semi-realistic in there, but I'm just going to have to use a Dingra like it there. He's not. We always used to say, he doesn't track back, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. Because that's not what he's there for. He's there to be the one when we're sort of like pushing teams and sort of trying to suffocate them in that he's going to try and make something happen through that low block. We haven't had to play a low block really.
I think for me though, that to respond to Wayne's point, you're right. I think you are right. I think that Adingra is the one I've been particularly disappointed in because he's had Premier Leagues. The others with Angulo and Talby, you can give him a little bit of leniency because they have to adapt to the Prem to get used to it. But Adingra, really, there was no excuse for him for me. But I would say that we signed those players because we felt they could contribute enough going forward now to get us enough points to stay up, which meant that next season they could then become third, fourth choice, and then you sign a first and second choice. I would absolutely have loved to sign a couple of really good attacking wingers and then maybe another forward to complement Robbie alongside what we did. But we have to remember, PSR is a nightmare. And I know our position was good, but I keep saying this. There's limits to it as well, though. You can't just spend everything in the first season and then fuck yourself up in the next season. You have to think a bit longer term than that. If we don't do it this summer and then next season, then I think there's fair questions to be asked there. But I think for me, you've got to look at it. And actually, I think you've got a testament how well we've done generally defensively. That we're the third lowest scorers in the league, yet we're 12 points clear of the bottom three.
Well, that's it. So next season, if we don't sort this attacking problem out and we have a bad season
or
defensively,
at least get the better balance between the two,
we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle next season. I'm telling you, if we're going to get this attack sorted out, we will struggle next season.
Can we get some merch on the Only Fools and SAFC channel of Sack Proctor with a silhouette of his own goal?
Well, all right, let's ask a question then. If we're talking about attackers for the summer, who can you think of that you'd get that's also realistic as well?
Fermin Lopez. He was shit last night, actually.
Exactly. So am I getting now?
Yeah.
Well, that's
John,
it.
I love you thinking
when you've been linked with players like Brahim Diaz and all that in January and what have you, are those the type of players that we should be going for? I don't know what the answer is, Michael. But
we need to be semi-unrealistic in who we're going for. Really,
there'll be some cheap Tottenham players. There'll be some cheap Tottenham players.
Dominic Solanke, go and get him.
I don't really want any of them.
When he comes back from injury, might be available.
Who's this?
Yeah,
Kulusevski
and Solanke would be all right.
I tell you what, if Voltemade scores another goal against the Mags at their place, then we'll sign him.
We've already got the chance for him.
Right, let's move on from this horrendous cup run.
Can I just ask one question to segue into the next thing? Because I promise it's relevant. Would the best way for the play, because I think the players owe the fans a response from a big one. I'm talking in the day, even if say on Saturday, for example, whatever the result is, you better put on a performance and put on that you want to remind you to say, look, we know that. Oh, imagine that. I remember you, Joel. You absolutely loved him when you were calling him shit a minute earlier.
Jam Sani in the house. He's the first Sunderland YouTuber I came across ever.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Jacku was pants, wasn't he? But the point was going to be like, you could just, I think the best way to respond, this goes sound weird, and it sounds tin pot, but still, the best way for Sunderland to sort of make up for this is to go and get a good result at Newcastle. I don't want to just go back down there because I hated the mindset of the fan that said to the Breeze, "Oh well, we can get relegated as long as we beat the Mags." Nah, fuck that. I want to keep the beating the Mags bit, but we want to start being the club that we know we can be, and don't let them deluded lot up the road tell you otherwise. So
But even if we beat Brighton on Saturday, and then we go and beat the Mags, that for me doesn't brush Sunday under the carpet. Mind for me, I'm not accepting Sunday just like.
no, absolutely. You have every right not to.
If we hit the European spots, though, Wayne, will you forgive him then?
No, I'm sorry. I can't accept that performance we put in against a bottom of League One side. I just cannot.
I still hold on to. I still hold a grudge now against Martin O'Neill for that quarter-final FA Cup performance at home against Everton when it was like, this is it. Oh my God, we could get to an FA Cup semi-final here.
And then we put in that performance.
Yeah, and I still hold it now to be like how excited I was. I was like, oh my God, we're actually going to get to an FA Cup semi-final. Like, I've never been to Wembley. And it was just like, what the fuck was that?
To be fair, I hold a grudge against Martin O'Neill for a lot of things because I thought he was genuinely great for us. So, but he gets away with a lot. He gets away with a lot.
Jack Colback thought he was all right. If you've listened to his interview on Under the Cosh.
Well, what's the definition of all right? Is it all right for you to play 60% and then get relegated if you hadn't got sacked?
Pretty much. Yeah.
So I mean, the question I want to ask before we go into any sort of games
Don't
that we've
say
got
man of the match.
No, it's not man of the match. There is none. And of course, it's Angulo. But
can we say man of the match probably because he didn't play because he was injured?
Yeah.
Mukaele. Had a great game.
Man of the match for that game is all them travelling fans that went all down there and got such a piss poor display. They deserve it.
We didn't know until last Tuesday who we were playing as well.
Yeah. So my question to you is, we've mentioned it on the chat, and I think it's ridiculous, but there's people saying Labrie going in the summer.
No, I know, man.
I think so. Yeah. I think
he has got to take some responsibility because, like I said, the tactics and the substitutions again questionable, which have been numerous times this season. But you cannot be saying you want us sacked after that. I mean, that is getting over the top. Yes, he takes criticism. All managers will. Pep Guardiola, Man City getting beat 3-0 of Real Madrid. Do they want Pep sacked? It's like, yes, he takes.
To be fair, Wayne, I think knowing a section of football fans these days probably, but I know what you mean. Not many of them would say that.
Yeah. So for me, no, I think that's just crazy talk. Who we're going to get and where will we be? Where will we be without them?
Thomas Frank. No.
Well, that's questionable and all.
I mean, everyone's saying about this second half of the season, Labrie, like we had that let off. What was it, 6 games in a row before the
6 games in a row where we basically knew we were going to get playoffs.
Yeah. I'm just worried we hit 40 points, and that was some sort of target for speak between Labrie and the senior management, and now it's going to be like let's let off the gas.
Well, that's it. How we finish the season there will kind of back that. If that happens, that will back that story up with it. If that's what happens.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you finish the season poorly, it doesn't automatically mean we're going to struggle next season. But you don't want to end on a whimper, do you?
No.
That if it just fizzles out now, it would feel, even though it's fantastic, if you'd have, offered it me back in July.
I'm telling you now.
if it had been offered to me back in July, I'd have snapped your hand off. But when it just fizzles out at the end and it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
It just feels meh, doesn't it?
That's what it is. And weirdly, I don't think they should, but I could see the regime making that change on Labrie if it sort of goes this way and if they're having a look about, because don't forget how quick they were to do that to Mowbray when actually he was the only reason that we were anywhere near the playoffs in his second season, really, and I know there was other things with other managers as well and bits and pieces, but Parkinson, even though he was shocking, they actually made a really early decision on him, and Johnson, even though we were still in the playoffs, but it was the manner of how we were doing. They got rid of him. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that this ownership have a look around and see what's around for them. But I don't really want it at that moment. I'd like to see him go, right, how do we change from this sort of lockdown sort of football and we counter to being a bit more progressive, but still keep our solidity.
So what I was going to ask, so if, Forget Brighton. if we get, if we don't win against Brighton, then we get tanked off the mags. Worst case scenario. How do you think people are going to feel then? Do you think that some people might want them out? And are some
It
people
might turn at that point,
yeah,
especially when we've only won
now.
one since February.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bradford just beat Port Vale.
At least they can do it.
There you go. Mike Bassett is available. I think that is the problem. The problem is he's got a really good setup against bigger teams, like we saw when we performed against Arsenal at home, when we were unbeaten at home for so long. And then
Man
when
City
we're at teams that we should just be getting them 3, 4, 5-0 results because we're a much better team, we're still trying to play this defensive thing and it doesn't work.
Wolves at home was a struggle and they were shocking. Like, we only just got 2-0 in the last minute, yeah. And it was even then, they had to score for us the second one.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? But yeah, I think for me, this season, I think with Labrousse, I mean, Doug as well, I think the calls for Labrousse to go are ridiculous, personally. But I think, again, I've said before, you don't have to just have one viewpoint on one thing and another on another. Like, you can say that you want Labrousse to stay and you don't want him to go, but he deserves massive stick for Sunday, as do the players do. Both can be true at the same time. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I think
it's the bit where Wayne's, like he said, on the bench, where on the touchline, where it would look like there was no urgency from the team, but that's probably because he was also giving nothing to be like, come on, there's 10 minutes, get on it.
I'm often of the opinion that I think a lot of people make more of that than there is. I think for me, you don't have to, and I know you guys aren't saying this, but for me, you don't have to go dancing on the sidelines to be like a great manager. But I do understand the point you're making that sometimes, and even I've said this, sometimes I would like to see a bit more, like, particularly if we're appealing for decisions and just try for him to kind of go, just wait. I was about, actually, I can't believe I'm going to make this comparison here. But if you remember in the League One days when Elliot Embleton got sent off at Gillingham, we won 2-1. It was under the Pomo midget Johnson. But basically afterwards, it was when Steve Evans at the time was absolutely raging and screaming for the ref. Sometimes some things like that can influence it. Well, yeah, maybe not quite like that, but yeah, sometimes things like that can often influence decision making to some extent. But for me, the calls for Labrousse to go on mental, because I think if you'd said to me when he came in what he was going to do, get you promoted against parachute, and I'll die on this hill, against parachute payment sides who have more resources than you, have more capital than you because of being in the Prem, everything else, it got promoted through the playoffs, and then you're going to be 11th in the Premier League with 9 games left to go, and you're on 40 points. Like, if anyone's telling me right now you would not have taken that, then I just don't know what to say to you. But
exactly.
My only fear is he's too successful, and like John's just said there, Labrie could go for another Premier League.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that this season for me has kind of been what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of been to some extent a perfect storm for Labrousse, because his tactics work, because nearly every game this season will have been underdogs. We would not have been the favourites for any. The only 2 games I can maybe think of where we might have been favourites are probably the 2 games against the promoted sides with us. So Leeds and Burnley at home, particularly.
Favourites every week to me, Mike.
Well, yeah, your way we're going to be Champions League. That's how I think it would work there. And to be fair, Burnley we did sweep aside, but yeah, Burnley were absolutely honking, like they were terrible. So I don't know. I'll be fascinated to see how next season will go. I think Labrousse is a pragmatic head coach, and I think if he has better attackers next season, like I said earlier, if the likes of Talby and Gulu or whoever and Traore become the depth, so to speak, and then you get someone who's going to start, then I'd be curious to see if Labrousse alters what he wants to do around those players. If he doesn't, then I think this noise around him will probably get bigger, even if I don't think it's fair.
That's it, because I think at the moment, them attacking players are playing with a handbrake on. He's not giving them the freedom to go and express themselves, because it's all about the defensive shape and catching teams on the break.
Do you think that's why we're not seeing the best of Mundle win?
Possibly. I mean, like you say, if he's shipped out of because he doesn't track back, he doesn't fit into that defensive shape, then possibly, I didn't know. But you have to, at some point, you have to give them attacking players license to guarantee what they can do and hurt teams.
I'll ask Wayne, well, all of you, but particularly respond to Wayne then. I think you could do it from now, really, because I don't think we're going to go down. But is there a case that, let's say Labrousse is waiting until we're mathematically safe and we know we're not going down? Is there a case then for the last few games to go, right, let's try it? Because We haven't got anything. The only thing we've got to lose is maybe a couple of million per league position, but we're going to get a boatload of money for staying up anyway. So is it not a case that maybe say the last 3-4 games of the season go right? Let's try it, and then we'll know.
Why not?
Obviously, 3-4 games isn't a big sample size really, but it's enough for them to go right. Can we see something that we can work on for next season?
Aye.
And they're against the last 2 home games, the Man United and Chelsea, teams that are probably more likely to have more of the ball than us to.
It wouldn't surprise me if we won
counteract
both of those
anyway.
games. Wouldn't surprise me if we won both of those games because they'll be the type of tactics that come at us. And actually, I mean, who have we got left at home? Is it Brighton, Tottenham, Forest, Man U, Chelsea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah. So I think, I don't know. I mean, we're not going to be mathematically. I mean, I know we're going to stay up, but we're not mathematically going to be confirmed until probably 3-4 games to go. But that's where I would probably like to see us have a little bit of a, just maybe get a bit of a better. I think the better balance is probably the word I would look to use because
I don't want to go gung ho.
Yeah, well, even as someone who is clean sheet wanker, and I call myself that as a joke all the time, even I would like to get a bit of a better balance between kind of sitting off and being passive and then trying to give it a go. If you look at Leeds away again first half, and I get Jacob wasn't playing, I get Ellen Road is a hard place to go, but I felt like the first half at Leeds, and that's the last Premier League game, so it's probably the best sample size. For me, the first half, we were too much focused on containing Leeds rather than do that, but balance it by causing a good threat ourselves.
That's it. Yep.
Right. We're going to have to move on because I know Wayne's on holiday. He might not be waiting for his bedtime. He might be waiting for the nightclub.
He might be too cold to go to bed.
He's off out on the sesh.
Have we got something to break this tension, Conrad? Have we got a game?
Oh, Wayne, do you have one as well?
No, I haven't got one.
Right.
No.
I've only got one, but it's
Wayne's on a drinking game.
Yeah. It's not a blind ranking, but it is a ranking, if that makes sense. So, as you now know, Sunderland have now won 10 Premier League games this season. And I want you to put them in an order of what's the most important to the least important. So just as a reminder for them. But you know what they all are. Like most important to you, the fans.
Most significant.
What the best. Yeah,
so
whatever
I was going to say, so what
about.
criteria are we ranking by most important? What meant most to us? What was most significant for the season? What was...
All of the above.
All of it.
Any criteria we want
the debate. Yeah. So we beat West Ham 3-0. We beat Brentford 2-1. We won away at Forest 1-0. We beat Wolves 2-0. We beat Chelsea away 2-1. We beat Bournemouth 3-2. We beat the visitors 1-0. We beat Crystal Palace 2-1. Beat Burnley 3-0. And we've just beaten Leeds 1-0 away. So I don't know where you want to start in terms of your... Should we start at number one?
Okay. Number one for me has got to be the max.
I'd put Newcastle as number one. Obviously.
Yeah.
There's no way that can't be number one. And contrary to what them entitled pricks will tell you, it's an important game. None of this, and it's our third most important game of the week, bollocks, because if that was the case, you wouldn't be annoyed that you lost to us. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, 2 people in the comments have said West Ham was the most important.
West Ham's up there, mine. That's
my
number
number 2 for me. Because for me, at the start of the season, to get off with the win, that was a massive game for us.
First Premier League game in 8 years. I think that's got
to be number 2 for me.
And it set a great precedent of 3-0 that we could never rise to again.
We'll never do it again. Sorry, guys. We set too many expectations on you by scoring 3. West Ham will be number 2. So what we got? Newcastle 1 and West Ham number 2.
Yeah. Number 3 could be the Leeds away game for the fact of breaking the curse of the black kit and 40
points.
Yeah, 40 points and away form. We've needed to get a win.
I think it's also quite mentally good to get one over on another of the promoted clubs as well, to sort of remind that actually we're better than, or we should be better than Leeds in that sense this season.
Can I throw in 2 examples just to play devil's advocate of Chelsea away being a first sort of proper big side that we beat, where it's like, oh, you've not played anybody yet, but we go to Stamford Bridge, play fantastic, and then win. But also being 2-0 down at home to Bournemouth. Yeah, and having that fight to come back. I'm just
I was there. See, that's got to be high up because I was there.
For me, I would have said either. For me, it's one of 3. I think it's Leeds, Chelsea, or Forest. Now, Leeds and Forest in particular, because that was my first Premier League away win that I saw live.
First away win.
But and also his first away win in the season, wasn't it? And contrary, I know they've not done great this season. I know they've not done great this season, but if you look through Forest's squad, it's riddled with quality all over. So, of course, they just had Ange, didn't they? So, although they're not doing much better now. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one, that. I personally would probably put Leeds away for the reason Wayne said. 40 points, and I think it's... And remember, it's winning away at a pretty tough ground as well, where Chelsea...
So it's like mission accomplished.
Chelsea didn't win there, Man United. They lost there. Man United, Liverpool...
No one wins there on a night time, ever.
Apparently not. No.
Only if you cheat. Only if you cheat.
Well, I mean, I would go, selfishly, I would go Leeds third, but if you two want to
I'd have gone Leeds third as well.
Okay, that's fine then. So, let's move away. What's the least important win we've had this season? What's the worst? Like, not the worst one, but like the one that didn't.
Do you mean the one that's meant that even though it's been great, it's not meant quite as much as the others?
It didn't. Yeah, it didn't mean anything. Like, there wasn't a big like Chelsea for me should be high up because it was a statement of like how we were as a newly promoted club. But to throw my example in there, Wolves at home.
I was just going to say Wolves. Yeah, I was just going to say Wolves.
That's not who I was going to say. I was going to say Palace.
Palace, not Burnley, because the Burnley one was...
Because, for me, selfishly, because of the crap that I heard from Leeds and Burnley fans about this minus 24 points gap, to me, that was quite hilarious to beat Burnley. And for me personally, because I was at the game at Turf Moor and I was quite dejected coming out of that, having lost 2-0. Yeah. So I was glad to get revenge for that. And actually, not that I have anything against Burnley, unless you're Will from the In-Betweeners, but to beat them 3-0 at home, then anyone who's watched the In-Betweeners will be a great film. But I would personally go Palace 10th, but I can see why you could maybe put Burnley there. I just think for me personally, the two wins that we had against Leeds and Burnley are significant because they both did finish miles ahead of us, and we beat Leeds away and we wiped the floor with Burnley at home with a clear difference. I like that from John. That's funny.
So do you agree, Wayne, or do you think Wolves?
I wouldn't complain if you put Wolves bottom though. Yeah.
I only think Wolves because it was, even though it's 2-0, it was barely.
And the only reason I would have potentially put Wolves higher is because at the time I didn't realise Wolves would go on to have the season. I know they started poorly at that point, but I didn't think Wolves would have the season they did. And I thought, established club, it'll click at some point. It's a massive win to make sure you get a good points tally ahead of them to make sure that because at that point I was still thinking finish above Leeds and Burnley and one other team. And I thought that would be massive. So I personally put Wolves ahead of the likes of Palace. But if you two put Wolves, then how about Wolves?
We're going Palace. We're going Palace at the bottom then.
And not forgetting as well, I suppose you could say Palace had a number of issues going on at the time as well.
They did,
Okay. So you've got the visitors in first, West Ham in second, Leeds in third, and Palace in 10th. So let's go back to the top. So who's then the fourth best one? You've got Brentford, Forest, you've got Wolves, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Burnley.
I'd say either Chelsea or Bournemouth.
Chelsea for number 3, I think, a massive statement.
Yeah, and Bournemouth is going to be up there, just like Mal
Leeds.
said.
Bournemouth fourth because they come back, gone 2-0 down to come back. And
that was huge, that. And by the way, just a caveat that, Bournemouth are a fucking good team as well. Just to say, I think, again, I've said before that I think a lot of people overlook Bournemouth as a name of club and the team they've got. It's two different things. But for me, I would say Chelsea and Bournemouth as fourth and fifth.
I'd agree with that.
I'm not bothered.
Okay, so you want Chelsea in fifth then?
No, Chelsea third. Bournemouth
Leeds
fourth.
Leeds are third.
Oh, sorry,
You've got
fourth
Newcastle,
and fifth.
West Ham, then Leeds.
Yeah, fourth and fifth. And I would like to suggest the Brentford game for sixth, only because of look at the team they are, look how well they're doing, and I think that was a great result for us. That 2-1.
We'll be 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go as well.
They're a good side now. They're a good side.
But see, wait, you know the point earlier I was talking about having to spend the money on the attacking players. This is what I'm talking about. These guys are established clubs. Even the teams that aren't the traditional Big Six, they're good sides. This is how hard the Premier League is.
Yeah.
So you've got 7, 8, 9, and you've got space for Forest, Wolves, and Burnley.
I'll put Forest next.
Forest next, I think.
First away win. I think me selfishly seeing a first Premier League away win, but first away win to prove we could get a result away from home.
Forest, Burnley, then Wolves.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
There we go.
Fair enough. Right. So,
actually,
just to read it back.
When you've read it out, how much of that will you agree with, that list?
I probably would. So I'll read it out for yourself first. Visitors number 1. You've then got West Ham in 2nd. You've got Leeds in 3rd. You've got Bournemouth in 4th. Chelsea in 5th. Brentford in 6th. Forest in 7th. Burnley in 8th and Wolves in 9th. That was right, wasn't it? And then Palace in 10th. Yeah. I would probably... The only one I would probably change, I would swap 2. And I don't mean like move one up and nudge the rest down. I would literally swap Leeds and Chelsea.
I can see why.
And I think it's just because of how much of a statement earlier.
The only reason I put Leeds above Chelsea because I was there personally.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it was just how much of a statement and how it seemed to wake the rest of the Premier League up to, they're actually serious. Like, they're actually like, And it was.
I think the Arsenal draw did that as well, though, didn't it? The Arsenal draw did that.
Conrad, you should do.
Well, I'll do the 10 draws next week.
I was going to say, do you want to do that now? Or like the 10 draws?
I'll do it next week. We'll save it for next week so everyone can have a think.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Any drinking games, Wayne? No.
Ring of Fire.
Well, since Wayne's on holiday, I'll ask this: Do you think Will still hates Burnley?
I think so.
If it is like football, I say I do.
I thought you meant Will's still the manager. I was trying to work out the link, but I get you now. The in-betweeners, Will.
In-betweeners.
I love that clip, by the way. It's so funny.
We should have got
like football. I say I do, but not Burnley. Burnley can fuck off.
We should have got the picture up, but Wayne found a brilliant reg plate over there as well.
Yeah.
FT,
I'll get it on. I'll find it.
Follow the Mackems, eh?
Right. So moving on, bouncing back to winning ways, we have Brighton. The squad's got to be different. I don't know what the injury situation is. Anyone a fair on who's coming back? Somebody said Brobby might be.
I think Hume and Sadiq will be back, but apart from that, I think the injuries are probably. I don't think you risk them. You want them all fit for the week after, wouldn't you? So I think you'll probably only see Hume and Sadiq come back in. The rest of them, you'll probably.
Would you not want Brobby on the bench to get some game time before the week after? There we go. Nice.
If he's fit, I'd have him on the bench. But I'm not. We need to bounce. We need to put in a good performance on Saturday. We have to. Even if we didn't win the game, we have to put in a good performance and show some fight and show some attack and gusto and have a go. Because Brighton are not being an easy game. You know, anybody thinking that we're going to walk out with them? Yes,
they're a good team as well.
They're a good side. So,
how big does the reaction have to be from regular Bree? Are we going to see a formation change? Are we going to see a different approach?
I'd be very surprised. He's got the way he plays. He doesn't deviate from that. He could have went 2 up front against Port Vale. He didn't get attacking at all. So I think it's his way, that formation, the 4-2-3-1, and whoever fits into that is what it'll be.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what's your team for this one then, Conrad?
I think it's pretty much the same team that we did on the weekend. I think apart from Hume comes in probably at left back, I would say maybe Gutierrez moves over to right back instead, and you possibly put Xhaka into the midfield because I think we really need him, and I don't want them to sort of go, oh well, we'll sort of sack this Brighton game off because of what's coming the week after. Do you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate we did that the first time round, but like we said before, I don't want the season to sort of fizzle out, and I still want us to have a proper go against Brighton. The wingers, it could be anybody. Like, he's just trying things each week now, isn't he? There really, like, I want to see the Talby that we saw against Liverpool, that we saw against Burnley, that we've seen in other games, giving a really good show of himself. But I have a feeling that you can't keep him in after that display. I think Angulo's done enough to keep his place in that team. But I think the striker for me is the interesting one, because even if Brobby's on the bench, we have to pick one of the other two. And Mayenda can be good, but also can be non-existent. And Wilson Isidor is just not arsed. Like, so
I would go by Ender out the two of them.
Proctor starting up top. There you go.
Proctor, Jesus Christ.
So if Xhaka and obviously Sneaky come back in, if Xhaka's fit, does Diarra get dropped, do you think?
No. I don't think he does.
So does that mean
the only other option is Lefay out left.
left-hand
I was
side?
going to
Yeah.
say, Lefay would go out wide for me, and if Xhaka starts him, Siddiqui and Diarra, because I think that's our best midfield three.
He didn't Labrie say at
Controversial.
Bournemouth,
I'd put. Sorry, go on.
He was saying that basically our whole system is set up for Xhaka, Siddiqui, Diarra, and Lefay all to play together, and they've only done that at one game for about 70 minutes, which was Bournemouth. And Bournemouth, we actually played really well. It was the referee that screwed us over, really. So if he gets the option to play all four of them, I think he will. And it'll only be the first, well, maybe it'll be the 5th game all season that they've all four played together.
I think if Xhaka does start, though, don't be surprised, whatever the result, if he comes off after about 50, 60 minutes. Because of what...
Yeah.
I wouldn't be averse to Xhaka starting and Lefay on the bench.
Where you put
If that's the case, then,
centre
Mike, who do you put out
and the
wide?
two wingers.
Who would your two wingers be?
My two wingers would be Talby and Angulo.
Are you talking Angulo
Was
on the
Talby
right?
done enough against?
Yeah. Angulo on the right,
Talby did
Talby on the
enough
left.
against Port Vale to warrant staying in the team.
Who? Angulo?
Talby.
Talby.
Possibly
Angulo,
not,
yes,
but
I get you.
possibly not. But if we base it off the Port Vale game, we would have no players on the frigging pitch because
Well,
none of them did
well,
any.
We've only got two
Another
fit
thing-
wingers anyway. We've only got Angulo and Talby because Traore is knackered, Jocelyn's knackered, Mundle's knackered.
Do we know the extent of Traore? I've not heard.
Well, I heard apparently he could be... They were just assessing him maybe over the weekend, and he might be okay for this weekend. I could be wrong. I could be talking nonsense. I might have heard that out of
Who
nowhere.
were our wingers against Leeds again at the start?
It was Human.
Angulo started, I know that.
It was Angulo and Lefay. Because Siddiqui, Diarra, Angulo, Lefay. Then we had Hume, Gertruda.
Okay. The thing I would say,
Hume was
though,
up there,
is-
wasn't he?
Yeah,
The thing I would
Enzo.
say is,
yeah.
would this not be the right time, though, if we're talking about the likes of Talby and Angulo, if we're going to pick two wingers and stick with them unless they get injured, because you need to give them a run together in order to start building cohesion, to start building chemistry with other players, and the more that you sort of work on that, the better it, well, theoretically, the better it should start to become there. Obviously, I
It'll all
don't
be
mean
wrong.
like,
It'll be like Jensen Jones and Alexic and
I almost
Put
wanted
Peter
us to put
back.
a lexicon against Port Vale because I was at least he runs forward with the ball.
Aye, he says
that
a
was
goal.
yeah.
Conrad, remember, there's one forgotten option. Abdullah.
Oh yeah.
dear
I'd
me.
like-
Yeah, imagine him in the Premier League. bless
oh,
him.
Bar.
Suddenly
Oh.
had to be like, who's that? Yeah. You thought he meant Abdullahi, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mike's face screams no thanks.
Do we know the situation on roofs?
Well, aren't they aiming for him to be back for the derby? So I'm
Back to
expecting
that
him to be
yeah.
out
game,
this
Yeah.
that's
weekend.
what they were aiming for.
Right.
And then sell him to Chelsea in the summer.
I'm already well bogged. I mean, he didn't, not really much he could have done on Sunday, really. You know, was what was in front of him, to be fair.
He had a shaky
Roof-
first
don't
10
mind,
minutes against
but
Leeds,
that's
but generally
all
after
that.
that, I thought he was very good.
I heard Traore to go under the knife.
I'd heard that it might need an operation. Like I heard that as well.
It wouldn't surprise us knowing our luck with injuries.
Yeah. It's a shame because he's actually pretty good and he worked well with the team, but he also worked well when he had Nordy next to him. So it's if we can't
This
play
is another
Nordy,
one,
we
though. So
don't really know.
Say, how would you feel? I know we've got Brighton first, and that is an important game. We do want to get a result there. But if you're going into Newcastle, I'm begging personally that Mukiele, Brobby, Reynaldo, Xhaka, of course, Roofs ideally are all ready and fit for that. I'm really hoping that, because I don't want to just disregard Brighton. But look, that's the game that I think pretty much most Sunderland fans would want to win. So I don't know. It's a weird one because I think in the next two, if you gave us 4 points, whatever order they came in, I'd be very happy.
Well, that's it. If we hadn't got the 40 points, then obviously Saturday becomes a massive game. But because we're now at that 40-point mark, Newcastle now becomes the massive game of the two. So I wouldn't be adverse to, even Xhaka is to keep him out and keep him for the Mags. I wouldn't be adverse to that. I'm not saying sack Brighton off because
No,
we
Brighton's
bounce
still
back and need
important
a
as well, isn't it?
performance.
Well, if you want to look
So-
at it this way, if you're looking at, you know, remember I mentioned earlier about being in the Premier League, the higher you finish, the more prize money you get. Brighton are below us. So
Yeah.
there's an opportunity there to try and, I want to win, obviously, but even if you didn't lose to them, you keep them 3 points below you with 8 games left. And this sounds so obsessive. I don't want to just compare us to them lot and finishing above them would be hilarious. Don't get us wrong, but if we're talking about finishing above the Mags have got Chelsea away on Saturday, and I know
Barcelona
Chelsea,
and Barcelona in the week.
Well, that wasn't what I was thinking of. I was thinking if we even if we got something against Brighton and bettered their results,
Aye.
you could pull a little bit further clear of them, and especially if you do get a good result. Yeah, but I mean, don't get us wrong. I see what you mean, Wayne. I mean, Newcastle, obviously, of course, it's the big one. For both clubs, Newcastle fans, of course, will really want to think about the reverse game. But yeah, I just think get through Saturday first. But I think Newcastle's the one I think most fans would want to win.
Do we fear the Danny Welbeck effect on Saturday?
Well, no one else. Yeah, probably.
He'd be the
not been
perfect
busy.
striker for our system.
10
Like, he really would
goals
be.
in
He's
28
36.
games.
Yeah, that's like that's pretty much 1 in 3, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's a good player.
The last 3 Premier League games, I think he scored twice in the last 3.
He's a good player.
Yeah, and it's always a returning Sunderland player, right? That breaks our hearts.
But Brighton are an example. To look at Saturday, Brighton are an example of a club that's okay. They're not having a great year this year, but they've been really well run over the last few years. This is how they've been able to sell well, being able to sort of establish themselves. And the more you establish yourself, the more money you're exposed to, and the better players you're able to get, which then can help you, if invested well, can help you establish yourself. It's like a repeating cycle. Brighton's a club I've got a lot of respect for how they've really ran themselves, and they've assembled a good side. Like I know
apart from a 40-year-old Milner still playing.
Boring James Milner. If you know that account, that's really funny. But yeah, that's another thing. But and I'm looking at Brighton. I mean, Brighton are 3 points below us on 37 points and 14th. But there's between 9th and 14th, there's 3 points difference. And that's another thing. If we're wanting to look at a top half finish, which KLD did allude to apparently once, then we probably need to get results in the next 2 games in order to try and help us achieve that.
Yeah, totally agree.
Is it worth £1 for Jason Steele to come on and score?
Go on, why not?
I'd love to see your odds, Paul. I'd love to see your odds. Right. Sorry, go on, Mike.
Could you imagine if he played on Saturday and had the game of his life?
Probably would. Well, he probably would, wouldn't he?
Score predictions for this one. It's going to be an interesting one, especially after the last result.
I think there will be. I do actually think there will be a response. I think the team is generally, as much as I'm still furious about Sunday, generally the team has delivered this season. I don't think both can be true again at the same time. I don't think we win. I think we'll get a point, and I don't think a point's a terrible result. It's not great, but it's not a terrible result either because Brighton are on a bad side. I'll say 1-1.
1-1. Conrad?
He stole mine. I was going to say 1-1.
You could say it too.
You say the same score.
I know. I just think it's going to be a lot more difficult, and I think we don't tend to, in history, we don't tend to do well when we think games are important, and the team don't tend to sort of share that
Brighton
same
doesn't
sort of
matter.
thing
It's all
with
about
us.
the manager. That's it. Brighton's an irrelevant game. That's it. Just think of it that way.
It depends, because an early goal for Brighton and us chasing it, I don't want to then really have to see your likes of Michele, Ballard, Robbie, and Xhaka all coming on to try and salvage something for us, and the risk of it. But at the same time, I don't want us to be 1-0 up and then resting players in the later part of the game for it.
On Saturday?
I do, yeah.
I don't think he will. I think he'll be safe in it. I think he'll be on the bench, but I don't think he'll start.
I think he will.
think
He
we
needs to
start
get
from
back
him.
into full 90 minutes before the derby.
I think he's starting to bring him off.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I think it's more start the game, see how we get on, and then see if we can get on without you later on. A bit like that one, really.
Do you know what would be quite nice?
1-1.
Do you know what would be nice for once? We haven't played a game against anyone when they've gone down to 10 men with a lot of time left in the match. I know Bournemouth went down against 10 men against us at the Stadium of Light, but that was at the very end when it didn't really matter anyway. I'd like it, it'd be nice for once if a team just went down to 10 men against us early, and then we don't. I mean, I know while saying that we probably end up losing.
But we don't do well attacking, so it'd be terrible.
Yeah, that would be funny, wouldn't it? But you know what I mean? It would then just mean it would be more control we've got and the less energy we use up for it. But probably won't happen that way.
So we've got 1-1. What did you go for in the end, Conrad?
1-1 as well.
1-1 as well. Wayne?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go the same. I think it's going to be a difficult game. I think
Patricia 1-1.
We're not playing well enough to keep a clean sheet. The defence that we've got is not good enough to keep clean sheets. The two full-backs, Getrauda was awful at the weekend. And Hume will probably play left-back, balance to the side, guns out the window. So I can see them scoring the way we attack. Obviously, we're not creating loads of chances, so I'm going to go for a board draw, 1-1.
All
Go on,
1-1s.
Mike. You sell the dream to us. Go on.
I'll sell the dream. I'll sell the dream. I think I'm not worried about the ex-Sunderland player side of things. I think they're coming off the back of a loss as well.
Tommy Watson?
Albeit,
He's
well,
at lower than
he's
No, he's
not
not
there,
at
is he?
Millwall.
Yeah.
he's at Millwall, isn't he? Aye.
So I'm going to go for the bounce back factor, and I'm going to go for a massive statement 3-0.
Woof.
And it's going to be, it's not going to be an open play 3-0. It's going to be set pieces. It's going to be free kicks. It's going to be a penalty. It's going to be that kind of game, but it's going to be a 3-0 is what I'm going to go for.
Right, just a quick question. Has Wayne shipped his beer over to you from Lanzarote?
If you think I'm on something, wait till you get to some of the John Ruddock's score in a minute. So I'm going to go through their scores now. Paul Armstrong has gone 1-1, same as you guys. Darren Elliott's gone 2-1 to us.
2-1
Owen Sarah has gone 2-1 to Sunderland.
Aye.
Rare we keep clean
Yeah.
sheets. John Ruddock has gone 5-0 Sunderland. John Ruddock.
John, whatever you're on, mate, I'll take it, but I love it.
Man after my own heart. Miles of Sunderland has gone for a 2-1. Brian Green has gone for a 2-1 defeat and says sorry about that. Oof, on a downward slope. 2-2 on Saturday, says John W. That'd be nice to see so that many goals happen. Sophie has gone for 1-1, the same as you guys. Changing Crisis has gone a 2-0 win to us, likes the clean sheet. Bandalad, I love that name, has gone for 1-0 Sunderland.
Class.
Mike's on the no.
Oh, God. What's Mike been
My brother Steve has gone for 1-0. Paul Spector's gone for 2-1 steal for them.
Steal.
1-1 Sean Tomo. 5 now I would love it, says Miles Percival, and 2-0 to Sunderland, says Patrick 1973. So I mean,
think I would on Saturday.
You've got extreme wins or draws.
Well, yeah, it's one of the other. I think for me, if we drew on Saturday but put in a good performance, I can walk away going, yeah, okay, we've at least shown much more. But I mean like a good performance in terms of balancing, being good defensively, and offering a threat going forward. But I don't think a point's a disastrous result by any means.
I'm gonna DM the whole squad. Say, listen, Wayne's not gonna forgive you unless you get a result.
Wayne wants you all sacked and all gone, deported.
And then they all text back saying, fucking go up, Wayne.
Can we get a T-shirt with that? Put a picture of Wayne's face looking pissed off and go, fucking grow up, Wayne.
Put it on the back of your merch, Wayne.
That's got to be done.
And then another one going, is it your bedtime yet?
Is it bedtime?
Midweek Mackems merch coming soon. Excellent. I think that's pretty much it. Michael Bowers, what's scheduled on Michael Bowers 541 this week?
Well, hopefully a happy match review on Saturday, but we'll see on that one. But yeah, maybe another live stream after the game on at the weekend, and we'll see what's what. But yeah, just my usual content. So thanks to everyone who has watched. It's obviously it's not been the easiest of chats tonight, but yeah, I think context is everything. So let's hope we're much happier next week.
Yeah, we're usually quite positive.
Yeah,
Wayne,
Wayne,
you're enjoying your holiday, but have we got any content lined up this week?
Yeah, I'm back tomorrow. I fly back tomorrow, so there'll be a match preview probably out Friday morning when I get research done and do it Friday morning. I might do a live reaction video after the game. I've done a couple of lives straight after the games, and they're getting some good numbers and people can't like it. So I might do a live reaction one, and then apart from that, it'll just be the standard stuff. Back on here next Wednesday, and might be a Bridging the Gap Tuesday. We'll see.
Has he calmed down yet?
Yeah, is he still your friend?
fucking calm down, Wade.
I got one Leeds fan at work that was before the game was going, yeah, we're going to beat you. He's not been in for the last 2 weeks. I'm sure he's just pulled a giant sickie the whole time.
Just remind us, Wayne, the Leeds fan that said 4-0, right, that you do content with, has he piped up since?
He wasn't happy after the game. He's, I love him to bits. He's really, really a cracking lad. But we were going to do a show afterwards, and he was too angry to do a show. He says we were cheats. It was an awful game, but we were horrible to play against. We were cheats. We were hates Liverpool 9. Said he's the worst player he's ever seen. Which I get that, but like I said, when you get into places like Leeds and Ellen Road, you have to win ugly, you have to win dirty, and you have to be shithouse tactics. It's how you get results at places like that.
Do you know what he said he's the worst player he's ever seen, though? Has he heard of a player called Ilan Melier?
Well, I mean, it's not like...
But yeah, it's just quite funny that, though, because literally you could just respond to him and go, well, to be fair, when you played us twice, we've had about probably half our squad missing. So see what would have happened if we had a full-strength side.
Conrad, you're the boss. What are we doing this week?
There'll be a preview at some point before the weekend. Are you doing a live stream on Saturday?
I will attempt to. There'll be lots of Rugrats.
It'll be the last second possible, but there'll be a live stream there. And then probably a really positive review. I'm going to just try and sort of put it out there. Really positive review afterwards, and then back round to Midweek Mackems again for the derby.
There we go. Derby day, Derby special. Derby special Midweek Mackems. We'll have to do something for that. There'll be some fun stuff there. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Whichever channel you're watching on, don't forget to make sure you've hit the like button, even on your way out, and you've subscribed and you've hit the bell on Only Fools and SAFC, Michael Bowers 541, and Black Cats _TV, and then go around to all the others and do the same again. It's always appreciated. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on Discord. We're everywhere. You can't get away from us. Come and join us, and we'll see you in another one really soon.
And don't forget Dornell's Destinations.
What's that?
That's his holiday channel.
Channel Dornell's Destinations.
There you go. It'll be linked below. Right. See you later, guys.
Midweek Mackems, we're back on the show. Talking Sunderland and everything you know.
Conrad's got the numbers, proper stats machine. Mike's optimistic, living out the Mackem dream.